Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video was a tag video. I was actually tagged by two of my brothers in the community. One, Ace Vendetta Smell Better Fragrances. I will link his channel in the description down below, as well as my brother Tyler over at Simply Fragrances. And the topic of the video today is going over the beginning of our fragrance journey. The first 5 fragrances that really got me into the collecting phase as a enthusiast in this hobby. So I was actually a little bit of a late bloomer. I didn't even really get into the hobby or start using cologne early on in the 90s with things like Nautica and Cool Water, like a lot of the people in the community. I was actually introduced to it more or less by Jeremy Fragrance right around the 2018 time period. However, before I encountered Jeremy on YouTube, I did start using fragrances as Atar Oils, at Middle Eastern Atar Oils. I really first got introduced to perfumery in the sort of milieu of the Islamic culture. I became Muslim in 2012 and spent an intensive course over a summer at Zaytuna College, kind of learning the basics of the tradition. And perfumery and cologne and perfume in general has a very high station, or it's very highly esteemed in the Islamic tradition. And so at the gift shop at the college, they were selling some Atar oils from a company called Tarife Attar, which I highly recommend checking them out. And the 3 fragrances from that company that really got me started in my journey, and for which I wore as signature scents for about a year or two before really finding out about spray colognes and the designer and niche markets in Europe and things of that nature, were the first was Grenada Amber. So shout out to Goldie Smellgood. I would definitely recommend you check out Grenada Amber from Tarife Attar, as it is one of the best ambers I've ever smelled, and comes really close in terms of scent profile to the discontinued The Siren from Zaharoff, which was a collaboration with Curly Scents. And so Grenada Amber is one that I would highly recommend. The second one was Red Musk, which is a really nice sort of red licorice style fragrance. It has a very deep, sensual, and semi-sweet licorice vibe going on, a really pillowy, fluffy, kind of well-projecting musk, and then a bit of a red tinge in terms of some spicy qualities that it has. And finally, the third Attar oil that really got my journey started from Tarife Attar was one called Golden Sands. However, I believe that one has been discontinued and can no longer get it from the company's website, which you can find them. They have their own storefront as well as an Etsy storefront. And Golden Sands was really like a little bit better blended version of Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So absolutely stunning vanilla fragrance with a little bit less of a smoky nuance that the Benz had, but still something that I've gotten compliment on all 3 of those Attar oils in excess when I really first started wearing them. And then as far as getting my fragrance journey started with the spray colognes and the designers and niches that we're familiar with today, the very first fragrance that I ordered based off of a Jeremy Fragrance recommendation, and that started my technical collection, was this one, Thierry Mugler's Pure Tonka. So just about halfway through here, and I really started collecting bottles at around the fall and winter time of 2018, I believe, and this one made one of the top 10 lists of Jeremy's for that era, and really was excited about this one because he said there was a coffee note in here, and there's definitely a lot of sweet elements to this fragrance. Sadly, this entire line has been discontinued now, but when I was really first starting to get into the hobby, you could pick these up for about the $40 mark. So really glad that I was able to get this one and another one that will be coming up in this list of 5 moving up shortly here, but this is still a really sort of gem sweet masculine fragrance that goes into a little bit of a nice syrupy texture feel without being too synthetic. Just really one of the best Tonka based fragrances that I've got still to date, so really glad that I picked this up early on. Next, also based on Jeremy's recommendation, I believe all 5 of these were from him, as he was really my only source of information early on in the collecting phase. I moved on to, you know, Justin Copeland and Max Forte slowly as I began blossoming out into my fragrance journey a little bit more. But the second one I picked up off Jeremy's recommendation was this Aqua Jo Profumo, and another one that I've really tied some scent memories to. Wore this one on my wedding day, and another one that really just kind of drove it home for me how good a cologne could smell and how efficient it could do in terms of smelling good, fresh, clean, and just epitomizing what I'm expecting to get out of a fragrance. This just is a very uplifting sort of marine style freshie that is balanced out with some smoky nuances that makes it a little bit dark. Another sad to see discontinued fragrance, but really grateful that I was able to pick this one up early on in my journey as well. So first we had Pure Tonka and Aqua Jo Profumo. Next, this fragrance, I believe, was perhaps in the very first panty dropper video that Jeremy ever did, and I think he might have started the trend back in the day. I remember looking for panty dropper video just to figure out what the name of this fragrance was, because I remember him mentioning it, and I had to go back and try to find the video where it was mentioned. This is Guerlain Lanoi Eau de Parfum, and this is actually my third bottle of the fragrance, so it's still pretty full, but this is the older style bottle and the older style juice. Haven't gotten my hands on the new silver plaque versions, but this juice color is really stunning. I hope it still is at least somewhat resembling this degree of dark richness, but this is a beautiful sort of almond, leather, and cherry fragrance. Still one of the best ones for the winter time in terms of the designer offerings, in my opinion. And being my third bottle, it's no surprise or it's apparent that I very much so enjoy this fragrance still to this day. So another one that I'm really grateful to have gotten early on in my journey. This is L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Okay, the next one we had here is Pure Malt, also from Thierry Mugler. Another one that made it into, I believe, this might have been in one of Jeremy's top 10 fall fragrances, and this one made it into the top 10 winter. And this is a very stunning, nice, a little bit aromatic style, cool, refreshing fruitiness over the top of some beautiful caramel, malty, boozy sweetness. So you do get, again, that syrupy, malty style caramel sweetness that doesn't go too synthetic, and then it's balanced out by a really nice, refreshing, almost fruit basket style fruity accord over the top of a boozy, fresh, fun, outgoing, but still sensual fragrance. Another one really sad to see being discontinued, but you can still sometimes find this at Facebook groups for around the $100 mark. Well worth it at that price, but not if you're going to be paying more than that. Again, used to be able to get these for $40. I got mine straight off of Amazon for that price. Sad to see discontinued, but really grateful that I have it, and that it was one of the first ones in my journey. So that was Pure Malt from Thierry Mugler. And finally, this one I also have some memories tied to. Perhaps no surprise if you're familiar with Jeremy's early work that this one would be part of my early journey as well. This is Lanoi Delom, the original, and juice color is fairly dark. It's been macerating for some time. This is one of the newer bottles. I believe the batch code is A2018. But this one I have a lot of great memories tied to, both from just being one of my early fragrances that I wore in my journey and got a good decent amount of wears out of. This is a little bit past half full, and when I was really first courting my wife and spending time together, and when we were first starting to date and whatnot, this is one that I would wear often during those periods of our relationship. Now we are married with 2 children, and this one just reminds me of simpler times when it was just me and her, and just the smell of this on the areas where we would be spending some time, you know, watching movies and whatnot. So this one really still brings me back to simpler times, both in my fragrance journey and in my life in general. And another one that's somewhat of a classic, beautiful, sexy, fresh lavender and cardamom bomb. A little bit intimate and reserved. It doesn't seek attention, but does a very good job of what it's setting out to do in terms of being a subtle, clean, elegant, sophisticated, and sexy fragrance still to this day. And that is the fifth and final fragrance that I'm mentioning here in the beginning of my fragrance journey. Those were the first 5 in chronological order that I really picked up and formed my now existing collection out of. So really appreciate getting tagged by 2 of my brothers in the community. I'm just going to leave this one as an open tag. I'm a little bit late getting around to it, so I think most of us have gotten tagged on it already, but if not, this is a great one to share with the community. So if you're a content creator, feel free to get on this one and let me know in the comment section down below your video and what you've posted, or if you're not even a creator, let me just know what you can remember in terms of your early fragrance journey, what your 5 fragrances were in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.